little jet sweep to start the drive.
Looking for a seam, but finding none. He'll get back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. No gain on the play there. Second down.
No gain on the play. Second and 10 at the 18-yard line.
Set, ready, go to base. Mike, number 53. Mike, 53. Watch the run, watch the run.
To throw on second down. Park. He's got a first down and more past the 30. And finally brought down at the 34-yard line. Coming into the week, he's the NFL's leader in receiving yards. There's his first catch, and it's good for a first down. Green last year had the lowest numbers of his career output-wise, 694 yards, 6 touchdowns. But, of course, there was a reason for that. He was battling a toe injury the second half of the season. And, boy, did the Bengals miss his presence. They limped to the finish line, losing 7 of their last 8. They are happy to have him back and healthy. From the 34 now, here's first and 10.
Watch the run, watch the run.
Now Mixon. And he will lose yardage here to the 31-yard line. A loss of 2 there, second down.
I know when I was a kid, I always got real excited when I saw those lateral-type runs. But the best backs that made it happen, they put a foot in the ground and just go. That didn't happen there. That play got swallowed up.
Check, watch 54, watch 54. Let's go one more.
Looking to throw on second down. Park. He's going to fire one deep over the middle. That's caught inside the 20. And all the way in for a Cincinnati score. Tyler Eifert with his second touchdown in this opening quarter. And the Bengals, they widen their lead. He put quite a bit of air underneath that touchdown pass. Of course, we knew that he had the strong arm.
That part was easy. You could see that throughout his college career. But what you want to know about a rookie is when the pressure's on, can you throw with touch? He just did right there. And, boy, it was pretty.
This offense ready to head back out there as they'll take over with a little over a minute to play in this first quarter.
You must be getting tired of seeing me.
On first and 10, Park got his man. It's Eifert. That one good for 15, and the Bengals get a first down.
I got a kick out of that one, partner. You and I talk often about trying to hide receivers in certain situations, but a guy of his size can't really hide him. But the tight end drag route, definitely an effective way to sneak him across the formation for an easy completion and a first down.
Let's go!
A gain on the play. And the Bengals.
After review,
Well, he challenged the play. It did not pay off.
And that means he lost a timeout in that challenge.
And as a coach, you hate that. Don't know if you took the advice of the player. You threw it yourself, but it didn't go your way.
At the end of the day, it all comes back to the head coach. He has the final determination on whether to actually challenge the play or not. In this case, it didn't pay off for him.
And that's got to be so heartbreaking. You throw that flag, you probably feel really confident, and then all of a sudden, boom, you lose the challenge.
Yeah, when you take a look at it, you're throwing that flag because you believe you're going to be right. And when it comes back the other way, you have to regroup.
I'm coming after you. I'm coming after you.
Off play action. Park. He's going to air it out deep for Green. And that's caught inside the 30. And he goes down, but not before getting us inside the 25. It'll go as an impressive 31-yard gain. So the big play gets them all the way down to the outskirts of the red zone here for 1st and 10. 14-0 the score. This is the NFL on EA Sports.
Hands up. Lead. 50. Come. Got double tight. Double tight.
Now a first carry from Giovanni Bernard. And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. That sends him 2 yards in the wrong direction and leads to 2nd down. First try for the right arm of Dalton here. Open man Erickson. That's complete. And they'll get him to the ground. He has another first down at the Colts' 12-yard line.
You can see the time and effort and thought that they put into their passing game because it was evident right there. It looks like a simple pitch and catch, but you and I both know that they have planned for this and worked hard to make it happen.
And he'll get this one down to about the 10-yard line. Give him a couple on the carry there, 2nd and 8.
That's a good play by the guys on the defensive side of the ball. Held them to a gain of 2. And that changes the playbook a little bit now for the guy calling plays. 2nd and 8. Now he's got to probably think about going to the air instead of maybe staying with the ground game.
And that is caught. He's got it for a Bengal touchdown. Giovanni Bernard there to make the grab. And the Bengals, they widen their lead. Well, he wasn't the guy they were initially going for, but after going through the progressions, it worked.
When you have plenty of people who can catch the football, you don't always...
We pick it up 2nd quarter here as the offense gets ready for the drive.
No gain on this defense. No gain. Ain't no gain. Hey, we got Mike 50. Mike 50, huh? There we go.
They'll start out here with a jet sweep. And he'll be brought down. Oh, that's a face mask. Certainly looked like it. Indeed, here come the flags.
Defense.
So that flag will cost him 15.
And it doesn't matter anymore how you get the face mask. Any part of it, that's going to be 15 yards.
After an excellent punt, this offense in a tough spot down inside their own 5. And now it's 1st and 10. A big mistake, especially when you factor in the personal foul yardage. To throw here, Dalton. And nearly picked off there. Almost intercepted. Instead, 2nd down. By the way, as we expected, most of the starting units out here in the 2nd quarter. So get your 2 deep, your 3 deep, your 4 deep ready for this one.
If you have a particular favorite who wasn't a high draft pick or is an undrafted free agent trying to make the team, this is the time to watch him play and give it his best shot. Because most of the starters, you're exactly right, they'll be out of the game watching the rest of the way.
And he'll be corralled right around the 34. They'll get 14 on that one. Good for a Bengal first down. That run's successful in large part because they had a lot of extra help blocking up front.
Yeah, you've got guys who can do that very, very well. In addition, they can catch the football. So sometimes when they line up with 3 tight ends, it's not necessarily to run it, and that gives you an advantage when you do decide to barrel off the line of scrimmage and block people downfield.
Well, they'll run it here on the jet sweep. And they'll get it up just short of the 45 at the 44. 10 yards there on a Bengal first.
And while we're seeing more and more of these plays come from the college game into the NFL, and that one, it was run with great success, how about the evolution of the offensive linemen? We're seeing less and less big guys who can't move and more guys who are a lot more mobile and can get out in front of that type of a play.
A pair of first downs gives them a 1st and 10 up at the 44. Fakes the give to Bernard. Dalton. Got an open man. That's C.J. Uzomah. 25 yards that time. Nice completion there for Andy Dalton. Charles, you worked some of his games when he was at TCU. Now you've worked his games in the NFL. What progression have you seen?
I've seen a guy who took over as a freshman in college and got better and better each year. Always added a little bit more to his game, gets stronger. But the best part about him is he's always been accurate.
Now from Colts territory, here's a 1st and 10 down at the 31. Dalton now to pass. Gets it to his running back, Bernard. And he's taken down, but not before reaching the 10-yard line. Coming up at the half, a reminder, we go back to Orlando to check in with Jonathan Coachman. He'll have a look back at our first half as well as a look ahead to what's coming up later this weekend. Now a throw to the end zone on 1st down, but it winds up incomplete. Hey, a sidebar worth noting is that preseason cuts have changed. So week 3 that we're in right now, the preseason, I think, what did you say, the roster's going to stay at 90 instead of going down to 75 this year?
That's exactly right, Brandon, because in the past, just what you said, this game here, at the end of week 3, or game 3, you would cut the roster down to 75 and play game 4 just like that. In this case now, though, they're going to be able to keep guys all the way through. So guys who would normally not have a chance to finish out the preseason, they'll get that chance now and get more opportunities to get on tape.
8th play of the drive forthcoming, and they need 8 yards on 3rd down. And Dalton to throw. And he's got it. Touchdown, Bengals. Alex Erickson there to make the grab. And the Bengals, they widen their lead.
A lot of people might call this backyard football. Sometimes just understanding who you've got out wide and who you're going to throw it to. Give him an opportunity to go up and make a play, even when contested. Looks like that one worked out pretty well. The trust factor, in effect.
So we are in the 2nd quarter now as the offense gets set to take over. They've got it 1st and 10. Oh, little jet sweep to start the drive. And that one covered beautifully. Their defenders stayed home, and they'll stop him behind the line.
I like the idea to mix it up from time to time because, let's face it, you can't be predictable. But the execution was a little lacking on this one, right? They might want to go back to the drawing board with that call.
A 3-yard loss to start the drive. They'll look to make that up and then some on 2nd and 13. Here's Dalton. And he goes down. Dalton couldn't get rid of it, and that will be a safety. And you know, the man who sat in my chair the last few years, he has a theory. These plays, these safeties, they're... So the football will be at the 25-yard line as this offense gets set to take over.
Mike 50. Oh, yeah, I'm coming. Oh, yeah, I'm coming.
Dalton bootlegs out. Open man is Uzama. Give him 17 and a Cincinnati 1st down.
There are so many things to watch for when you play defense. And reading your keys, you always hear about that, and having your eyes in the right place. Sometimes your eyes can fool you. How about that play action there? And it sprang the big guy, didn't it?
Able to dump it over the top to him. Well, a nice throw here, right side. He hauls it in. And he takes this one down almost all the way to the 30. That'll be marked as a 27-yard pickup.
Not only have they completed a couple on this drive, but they peeled off some pretty good chunks of yardage, too.
Absolutely. Great start. 2 nice plays in the pass game. Now can they continue to feed off that? Now from Colts territory, here's a 1st and 10 down at the 31. So Dalton now. It's a short one here, complete to the tight end. That throw good for 4. It's 2nd down.
And, partner, I think that's a great example that not all tight ends are created equal because everything was right. Got the completion, but he's not one of the more dynamic guys in the league. So even though he caught it, couldn't turn it into much more.
To throw again on 2nd down. Dalton. That's caught by his tight end, Uzomah. And he gets it inside the 10 to the 9. That'll give him 60 yards receiving now as he's got a first down.
The goal for any offense versus a zone defense, find the holes where guys are available and put the ball on the receiver before any defender can step up and fill it.
They did it well there. Perfectly executed crossing route. Oh, how about this on first and goal? And running room hard to come by here. He gets it down to the 8. It's a gain of a yard, and it'll set up second and goal.
A lot can go wrong when you call a play like this down in the red zone, but that's where you appreciate this from your head coach. He's not afraid to trust his guys to do the right thing, and as a player, that means an awful lot.
Now Bernard. They'll get this halfway home from the 8 to the 4 on a gain of 4.
Third quarter and you've got the lead. You're not ready to go into that 4-minute offense to close the game out, but a running game can really benefit your team right now.
Dalton on third and goal. And they're going to get to him. A sack. Sacked back at the 9-yard line.
Third and goal, they decided to throw for it, but how about the play defensively? Couldn't find anyone open. Left him nowhere to go with the football. Had to absorb the sack.
The offense stays out there. A big challenge here from this far back, but they're going for it on fourth and goal. Now Dalton. And that is caught. He's got it for a Bengal touchdown. Andy Dalton with his third touchdown pass of the game as his guys continue to pour it on.
Fourth and goal, and they found a way to throw it in the end zone for a touchdown.
And these defenses, they just like 3 downs, get off the field. So now this offense will take over, and they will have the football at their own 20-yard line.
Got one. Mike's 50, Mike's 50.
The drive starts with a handoff to Bernard. It's a Bengal first down, a pickup of 11. Now, I think we can get used to seeing more of that in this fourth quarter, especially if they're having success on the ground like they did there.
Yeah, I think back when we met with the head coach in preseason, and all he talked about was building a bully. And I think it was this situation he was envisioning. Trying to ice a game, plenty of time left, but being able to give the ball to his big runner and pound away and try and finish off a game.
Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on first and 10.
Go!
Now a carry for Bernard. Quincy Wilson in on the stop.
Bottom line, they want to keep this clock rolling, so they'll take that one right there. They just want to keep falling forward, and they want to put the onus on the big fellas up front in order to bring this one home.
Following the pickup of 4, here's second and 6. Throwing, Dalton. That's complete, Bernard. And he'll lose yardage. Brought down at the 32. That second down play nets a -4. Really good defensive effort. They were all over that little swing pass out to the right side before lost yardage.
Terrific read, better execution, and done with a lot of enthusiasm, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
They saw it all the way, ran to the football, and caused a nice play for lost yardage.
And able to find Green. And all the way in for a Cincinnati score. A.J. Green, 68 yards as his guys continue to put this one out of reach. So another score there, and often you talk about the 3 phases of the game. Defense, offense, special teams. It's been a clean sweep in this one, hasn't it? So this offense will head back out there already in excellent field position thanks to the interception.
Let's put him on the buses. Let's put that
Their D gets the INT. Now what can Dalton do? He's got Green. And they'll work it inside the 15-yard line before it's all said and done. 10 yards there on a Bengal first. Andy Dalton now 14 out of 17, 82%. And it's 1st and 10. Dalton. Green brings it in. Give him 9 there on the first down completion. So there on that play, offensively, they ran the crossing route. Defense was in zone coverage. So as a former DB, how tough is it to defend that?
It's really difficult because your natural inclination is to chase the receiver and maybe leave your zone. So you have to have discipline in order to talk to your other coverage guys and let him know that that receiver's crossing from your zone to the next zone. He's coming your way. Make sure you have him. And then when the ball is actually thrown, secure the tackle. When they're moving on crossing routes, if you miss a tackle, it usually results in a big play.
So the Bengals in possession of the football here as we get you reset. They've got it 1st and goal in a game that appears to have already been decided. Oh, how about this call down near the goal line? And that one covered beautifully. Their defenders stayed home, and they'll stop him behind the line.
This is why I've never been a big fan of trying to get too cute down here by the goal line. For every one time something like this works, it seems like it blows up about 10 times. And sure enough, they'll wind up losing yards here.
On 2nd down, Bernard. And he will get into the end zone. It's another touchdown. This thing is ugly.
Well, this game is definitely over, but we do know some people like to go ahead and continue to add to their score, don't we?
Yeah, I don't know that they need to add any more. A big offensive explosion helped leading them to victory, and the defensive guys, they're just saying, hey, put those points up every week, we'll just keep winning.
They will gratefully accept them, won't they? It makes their job that much easier when they're scoring that many points, allows them to play with a totally different style and a different flow.
So that's a wrap for Charles Davis. I'm Brandon Gaudin, and this has been a presentation of the NFL on EA Sports. For more, check us out at easports.com. It's a win for the Bengals as we say so long from Cincinnati.
Running back.
Know they taking notice.
The Zach Taylor era begins in Cincinnati. It's the coach. This is week 1 of the NFL on EA Sports. Coming up, the Bengals have a new man calling the shots. Zach Taylor, the second youngest coach in the entire league, as they head to Seattle to take on the oldest coach in the league, Pete Carroll of the Seattle Seahawks. I'll be back at halftime with a look at the games in progress. But first, let's get up to Seattle. Standing by are the guys in the booth, Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
It is loud and it is wet here, Coach, as we welcome you inside CenturyLink Field on a patented rainy afternoon in Seattle, Washington. These folks love their football in Seattle. This was the scene a moment ago as the home squad came out of the tunnel, and it was just absolutely deafening in this building. They're set for football, so are we, as the Seahawks get set to match up with the Cincinnati Bengals. So the football will be at the 25-yard line as this offense gets set to take over. On first down, Park. And the catch good. It's Eifert. And he'll be out of bounds across the 30-yard line. A good pickup there. 8 yards on the first down completion.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he could get a good head of steam going.
And now the throw hauled in by Green. And able to rip off a big chunk of yardage before being dropped inside the 40. The catch and run pays off for 29 yards. And a nice start there to the aerial attack to pick up the first.
And I think preseason is officially over now. Getting into the groove of the regular season, that's a great way to get started. First drive of the season, what a nice completion.
So from Seahawk territory now, it's 1st and 10 at the 38. This is Joe Mixon, 4th in the NFL in rushing last season. And a short gain there down to the 37-yard line. Just a yard on the first down carry, so it's 2nd and 9. So a look here at the key inactives, and we got this list before the game down on the field. And they tell us the same thing every time, don't they? Next man up.
No excuses. Be ready to play. That's the mantra of every organization. The key is having guys on the roster who are capable of filling in and playing at a high level. That's when you know you've drafted well, scouted free agents well, and stocked your team just the way you're supposed to.
Now a 2nd down throw for the end zone, but it's incomplete. Sometimes those guys taking the 7th round, you can think, oh, maybe he's just happy to be in the league. I don't think that's the case here.
And you know those actor friends that we have? How do they start every script?
I don't have any actor friends.
What's my motivation? Right? Well, this guy's motivation is you get picked in the 7th round, so no one expects you to make the team, let alone have an impact. And we know plenty of guys have done exactly that as 7th rounders.
And you take a look at this draft class from a season ago, really it grades out as a pretty darn good class.
So you have to give a lot of credit to the entire scouting organization. General manager, personnel department, college scouts, all came together. They evaluated it very well and got a nice payoff.
Our game not even 2 minutes old, but a quick red zone opportunity. They've got a 1st and 10 at the 15. Looking to throw. Park. That's complete right around the 8. And he will take it on in for a Bengals touchdown. A 15-yard touchdown grab. And the Bengals take it right down and score on the opening drive. Excellent start there. First drive of the season. Big-time success putting it in the end zone. So the football will be at the 25-yard line as this offense gets set to take over. Off the bootleg. Park. To the left side here for Eifert. And he's taken down but able to slip across the 35. 12 yards that time and a Cincinnati first down. They were in zone defensively, went with a crossing route. It's always interesting to watch that chess match.
Yeah, and I think safeties don't mind crossing routes against zone because eventually you're going to run into their territory, and that's when they lick their chops in order to get the big hit or a play on the ball.
Offensively, nice execution to find a hole, make the catch. A good gain again. That's now 31 yards combined on those last 2 plays.
Coming in, he really liked his chance of having a big year based on a terrific offseason. And runs like that on opening weekend show that he's right.
Back-to-back good plays have him on the move on first down. Back to throw. Park. He's got a first down and more inside the 30. And finally taken down at the 15. The catch and run pays off for 29 yards.
And let's face it, that what we just saw there, not a surprise, is it? I mean, this is what he does well. And if you don't tackle him as soon as he catches the ball, this is the end result. Big yardage afterwards.
Got the speed, the agility, so good with run after catch. And we're only in the first quarter, so they better get a wrangle and a hold on that quickly.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And what's really difficult to try and defend him is if you want to press him so that you get him on the ground quickly after the catch, a lot of times he'll just run past you at the initial point of contact, and he'll go deep.
Now, here's a look for the end zone, but that one's going to wind up incomplete. Green once again the intended receiver, and that'll bring up second down.
I know you felt like saying touchdown there, didn't you, partner? That looked like a sure 6 points, but the contact jarred it free.
Got his hands on it, could not hold on through the end of the play. They try to throw on second down, but this one is incomplete. Tyler Boyd, the former Pitt Panther, was the target, and it's third down. So back-to-back incompletions. Third down here in 10, but you're still in field goal range.
And that's the thing to keep in mind. They're in field goal range. So now you don't take any unnecessary risks, but you try and find a way to get back to what you were doing earlier in the drive in order to finish this one off.
Meanwhile, on third down, they take a shot at the end zone, but it's incomplete.
Even without a ton of pressure in his face, it just shows how difficult it is to pick apart his own defense. Those guys are sitting back, and they're not playing receivers as much as they're playing the eyes of the quarterback and when he delivers the ball.
Bullock's kick is good. And they take the lead here now at 10-7. So unable to convert for the touchdown inside the red zone, but they do come away with 3.
Yeah, it's a 32-yarder. That's essentially an extra point nowadays, right? Because it's
so the offense set to take the field here. They will have the football with less than a minute to go in the first half. Off the play fake. Park. And that is incomplete. Took a shot there on first down, but he couldn't reel it in. Well, the Bengals and Seahawks meeting here in Week 1, and this is a combination that we haven't seen that often on the turf. If you look back to when the franchises began facing each other all the way back in 1977, but since then, just 20 meetings. It got his man complete. He's at the 30, 10, and all the way in for a Cincinnati score. A.J. Green taking it in. And the Bengals strike quickly here for 6 points. Well, when A.J. Green is on the field, you never know. So after giving up the touchdown, now what can this offense do? Can they strike back? We'll see. 1st and 10.
Ready, set, right. Check, Mike 54. Line 54. Here we go. Here we go.
Here's Joe Mixon as they start on the ground. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. That's going to go as a loss of 1 on 1st down. A loss of a yard there to start out. That leads to a 2nd and 11. 2nd and 11. He's going to air it out deep for Green. And he knocks the ball away, and it falls incomplete. He was looking for his favorite target, A.J. Green, that time. 3rd down here. This secondary has been roasted in this first half, and they get a measure of revenge there. Nice play on the deep ball.
Yeah, they're going to need a few more plays like that in order to get their confidence fully back, but that's one step in the proper direction.
Looking to throw. Park. He finds his running back, Mixon. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. A Bengal first down on the 16-yard pickup there. And now with that completion, he's north of 200 yards here in the first half.
And he's going to break our statistician, Marvin, isn't he? Because Marvin right now is just tallying it up. Hope his hand doesn't hurt too much doing this or keeps hitting the calculator. But my goodness, what a start he is off to. By the end of this game, he could have monster numbers. He just wants to continue to be accurate.
Now, meanwhile, a pass that should have been intercepted, but it winds up falling incomplete. Green once again the intended receiver, but it's going to be 2nd down. Off play action. Park. Blitz coming, and down he goes. Unable to stop KJ right there as he slips by for the sack.
So this has been a lot like a tennis match, hasn't it? Back and forth. Both these offenses having their way so far. So maybe the question isn't who's going to score the most points in this game. Maybe it's who's going to get some stops.
Yeah, absolutely. And that sack, finally a first step in the right direction for a stop. Now a shot taken on 3rd down, but it's going to wind up incomplete.
You hear the calls for a penalty, but I just don't think so. I think in this situation, the defender was making sure his guy couldn't hold on to the football. So I don't see anything that warranted a flag.
No, I'm with you. There was contact, but I'm happy they kept that flag in the back pocket. Airing one out for Boyd. Now that'll be tipped and intercepted. Picked off by Quandre Diggs. And they're going to take over right there at the 22-yard line. So the football will be at the 25-yard line as this offense gets set to take over. We remind you that coming up in 2 minutes, we'll again head down to visit with Jonathan Coachman in Orlando, back for another year. He'll have scores from around the NFL here on this opening weekend. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. With a sack, it's Ziggy Ansah. After the sack, it's 2nd and 19, and the road gets a bit tougher from here. And on the left sideline, he caught it, but out of bounds, according to the head linesman. Incomplete, so the ball a little late getting there, and it's 3rd down. An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down. He's got his man here. It's Green. And way up past the 35 before he's taken down. A good pickup there, 21 yards. Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. Back to throw. Park. Got his man, it's Eifert. And he'll be out of bounds after getting this one across the 40. That's a staple of this offense. Drag route to the tight end.
Yeah, he's unable to use his size to break off much more yardage after the catch, but still an effective gain nonetheless.
He's got his man on the crossing route. And taking it across midfield and inside the 45. That one good for 15, and the Bengals get a first down. So we are at halftime here in the opener of the 2019 regular season. All right, we will save the Week 1 highlights and apparently get right back to the action here in the 3rd. We'll see if week one fatigue becomes any kind of a factor as we are back underway in the second half. This will be taken to the back of the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. A reminder coming up later tonight, the Patriots unfurl their 6 banners. They play host to their rival Steelers. And then on Monday night, it's the one weekend of the year where you get 2 games to wrap up the week. Now following the touchdown, here comes this offense back out onto the field as they will take over with a 1st and 10. They'll start out here with a jet sweep, and that one covered beautifully. Their defenders stayed home, and they'll stop him behind the line. They'll wind up losing 3 yards here, and that'll make this a 2nd and 13. So now they have to contend with 2nd and 13 after the first down run goes backwards. 2nd and 13. Oh, he's got a man wide open, complete. They'll wind up getting 10 back as that sets him up for 3rd down.
One of the advantages of zone defense, as I remember it, is being able to see the play develop in front of you. One of the disadvantages, when they find those levels where they can hit you with it. Sometimes behind the corner and in front of the safety, it makes it tough to defend.
And they'll go jet sweep to try to pick it up. It's a pickup of 6.
Come on, baby. Let's go.
Well, partner, if we had their entire playbook in front of us, I'm not sure we would have picked out that play as the one to run in that situation. How about the guts of the offensive coordinator? Dialing that one up into great success.
Throwing on 1st down. Park. He's going to air it out deep for Green. And that's caught inside the 30. 33 yards that time.
That was an excellent read right there. Saw cover 1. That means it's just a single high safety. So you know if you throw the ball to the outside part of the field, help is going to be a little bit late getting there. And he puts one out there for a big-time completion.
So now then, the big play has him all the way inside the 30 now, 1st and 10. It's a jet sweep. They get it to Green. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football. And the defense not able to get it. From a defensive perspective, what's that moment like when you realize the ball is loose?
It is a moment where all concentration goes right to the football. This is something you've talked about in all your preparation for the game. You probably talked about since training camp. Knock the ball free, take it away from the other team, and now you have that chance. There's a little bit of deflation when they end up recovering it.
They knocked it free, but couldn't take it away. From the red zone now, they'll look to throw. Looking end zone, but it's incomplete. An incomplete pass on 1st down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. To throw again. Park. And he's not able to get away. Sacked back at the 22. Bobby Wagner, the former 2nd rounder out of Utah State, with a sack.
Enough takes to start to have a good drive. Quite like a big loss on a sack, does it?
Now they're looking at a 3rd and long, and suddenly the momentum shifted to the other side of the football.
And old Mo is a very, very fickle man.
Throwing right, and that's complete. A loss of a yard, and it brings up 4th.
Well, I know it goes against the instincts of the person catching the ball because all you're ever taught is catch the football, don't drop it.
But drop it there.
Yeah, in that situation, dropping it would have been better. End up losing yardage, even though they completed the pass.
As good as a sack.
Yeah, how about that? Although they won't get the same credit for it, and it won't help them at contract time.
So the football will be at the 25-yard line as this offense gets set to take over.
Let him know,
Off the play fake. Park. He's going to air it out deep for Green. He's got a man. Complete. That one goes for 36 yards. You're at the point in the game right now where you got to start taking some chances, and that chance paid off.
And it's a good idea to be that aggressive because, truthfully, the defensive guys, they're just playing not to make a mistake. That often means you can make a big play against them.
And that is caught on the right sideline, but out of bounds, says the line judge. The throw took him a little too far. It's second down. You and I watched film yesterday, and you told me to watch his feet. Well, for whatever reason, his footwork just looked off on that throw.
And you always love it when an ex-defensive back talks quarterback mechanics, right?
Well, but you're good at it.
Well, I try, all right? I don't know how good I am, but it doesn't take much to tell. His mechanics are off a little bit, exactly what you described. Footwork, that led to the incompletion.
23 yards the pickup there. 2 minutes left to play in this football game here on EA Sports. So the Bengals in possession of the football here as we get you reset. They've got a 1st and 10 as they search for a late score. Now a toss left side into the hands of his tight end. And they corral him just a couple yards shy of the end zone. Back-to-back nice gains. That one for 14 yards and another first. Mixon trying to punch it in. And he is in. Touchdown, Bengals. Taking it in from... So the victory here for Seattle. And with that, our journey begins, Charles. Week 1 in the books. Going to be a great season.
Oh, man, so much to look forward to. Isn't it nice to get a really good game right out of the gate? Preseason behind us. All these games count now, don't they?
Yeah, this is the exciting time with just 1 week gone and plenty of weeks to come. So for the Seahawks, it wasn't always pretty, but they do eke out the Week 1 victory here by a field goal. And they will hit the road next week to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Meanwhile, for Cincinnati, they obviously fall to 0-1 with the defeat. And they'll get a chance to redeem themselves at home next week. I'm Brandon Gaudin. Certainly have to thank Charles Davis, my broadcast partner, and our entire